Hello, viewers. I'm Bob Zykowitz. Today is the 1st of July. It's amazing how time is going by. Today we have a call-in show, and my guest today is our executive chef, Michael Ritt. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Bob. How you doing today?
I'm doing fine, but before we go any further, please call 923-4639. The executive chef is here to answer any question that you may have. Michael, you're here, I know, on your monthly update. What's going on over in the dining services?
First and foremost, I'd like to announce the promotion of Suzanne Francis, who was previously sous chef in the Fireside and has been promoted to chef de cuisine for the Garden Ridge. So I'm very happy to announce that. And Suzanne's been here for a while. She's been here about, I think, 13, 14 years. Started out as a line cook and slowly moved up. Yeah, so I really like to announce that. You know, it's always fantastic when you promote someone from within and showing that potential for growth in the kitchen.
I think we ought to congratulate Suzanne on her promotion.
It's duly deserved. So she's done a fantastic job.
Tell some of the people over there in Fireside, if you see Suzanne, give her a little wink or a pat in the back and say congratulations. That's great.
Yeah, and then also last Wednesday, myself, Chef Havinga, and a few of our members of our resident dining committee went on a little bus ride. It was sponsored by Coastal Produce, which is our produce company. Went out to Salisbury, Maryland, and visited a few of the farms that Coastal actually purchases from that we utilize. We saw, and there's some pictures up on the screen now, we saw some beautiful greenhouses, bib lettuce, just greens, romaine, herbs. We saw some beautiful greenhouse tomatoes, and we saw some beautiful tomatoes grown out in the fields. And I think it was a really good opportunity for some of the residents to see, you know, we talk about farm to table and local produce. You know, you can talk about it and show pictures all day long, but when you actually go out there and you see the fields and you see the produce hanging on the vines or, you know, growing, and you learn so much about the process, I think it's just a little more information that these dining council members can bring back, and I'm going to discuss it at the dining council meeting, and hopefully maybe in the fall, you know, have another tour. And we even took it a step further. Chef Havinga had a dinner for some new residents for Green Spring this past Monday, and we actually purchased, you'll see a picture of some of the stuff we purchased from those farms that we utilized in that dinner. So we really want to promote, when we say farm to table and local produce, it's not just, you know, just words of mouth and, you know, lip service. We actually do that. You know, the proof's in the pudding, as they say. There it is. You know, and it was a beautiful dinner that Chef Havinga and her team did. And, you know, when they say it was literally from farm to table. So,
Michael, you've answered a question that I had in my mind for so many times. When I order my salad, and I've had tomatoes, and I have said at the table, I wonder where these tomatoes come from, Mexico or wherever. No. They come from Salisbury.
Well, Maryland, Jersey. I mean, you know, the one thing with produce is that it's really out of our control. It's when you say it's in God's control, you know, we say acts of God, you know, we can't control the climate and the seasons and where it rains and how much it rains and the temperature and all that. So good seasons, you know, produce is plentiful and there's more choices, and there's a lot of produce just in this area. You drive to the beach and you see rows of corn and you see tomatoes. So, you know, Maryland has a lot of produce, Virginia, you know, New Jersey's the garden state. So we try to basically bring from the mid-Atlantic. When I say mid-Atlantic, that can go anywhere from North Carolina up, you know, even up to Maine. You know, blueberries. Where do blueberries come from? Mostly Maine. We did see some blueberries on one of the farms we went to. So it's really good to bring residents to, you know, so almost like I have that saying, I'm from Missouri, show me. You know, let me see what what you're talking about. And I did, and I think they were really appreciative of the tour. It was a long day. I think we were up, you know, some of us were up at 5:30 in the morning.
Oh, really?
Well, it's a nice drive out to Salisbury, and we wanted to get to the farm. And you know, the owners of the farm gave us great tours, a lot of great information, things that, you know, some of us didn't know how they do things. So it was a fantastic time.
Is it safe to say that most, if not all, of our vegetables are USA grown?
It depends on the season. Asparagus, asparagus sometimes comes from Peru, and it's a big crop down there. During the winter time, when the seasons change, yes, some things do come from Mexico. We generally from the Southwest. It depends on the season. It depends on the harvest. But I would say majority, yeah. Salinas Valley, California, grows a lot of romaine and lettuce and iceberg, things like that. Maryland has a lot, in Jersey, a lot of tomatoes, zucchini, squash. We saw some zucchini and squash when we were out at the second farm. They do 8 different varieties of tomatoes, different colors, different names, different shapes. You have heirlooms, and you have vine ripe, and you have cherry, and you have grape tomatoes in different colors. It was just fantastic.
Remember, folks, 923-4639. Here's our executive chef. This is a call-in show. Okay, Michael, you have some updates for us.
I do.
You've already given us Susan Francis. That's an update, I know.
Yeah, and that's a big update. I always talk about My Nutrition. My Nutrition is a program that is connected to the menus, and it's a program that is only with Erickson Properties. You'll see it at no other CCRC in the world, and I've promoted this since I came here 3 years ago, and I think it's a great tool for the residents, those who want to watch what they eat, the calories, the vitamins, the salt, the sugar, for whatever reason, for allergic reasons. Well, I'm conducting another class. I do these classes periodically in the quarter, and this class is going to be July 14th from 12 to 2 over in Town Center in the Cards Room. And that's upstairs, right when you come upstairs, top of the stairs, that little room right there. And you can RSVP through my number, and I think that information is on the screen right there. And we go through My Nutrition. There's a PowerPoint that I go through, and we sit there and talk about the menu and things that we do on the menu to help the residents out nutritionally. And I think it's a great class for especially new residents who are new here and want to learn about the program, or those that are really conscious of what they eat. And it'll be a 2-hour program, and question and answer.
July 14th.
July 14th. It's a Tuesday.
12 to 2.
12 to 2, Town Center.
Town Center Card Room.
Yes, sir. Yes.
And would I go to Phyllis to make my
No, I would call. It's my extension that the information is on, and I'm going to send out a flyer this week.
Very good.
And that'll be up, and I'll send it to. It'll be on the resident. There'll be some information on the resident menu. I'll send some information to the villager. Channel 6 is going to be running that starting today throughout the next week and a half. So all the information will be posted, either electronically or physically.
We'll look forward to seeing that, Michael.
Absolutely.
One kind of curiosity question. You're wearing a hat, and it's not a hat, it's called a toque.
Correct.
It has a story.
It does, and I learned this a while back, and it's a great little trivia. Back in the days, the number of pleats on a chef's toque represented how many ways he knew how to cook eggs. Especially back in France, eggs were very, with hollandaise and eggs Benedict and many different ways to cook eggs. So as many pleats as they had on their toque represented how many ways they knew how to cook eggs.
I never knew that.
It's a little trivia if you're sitting around the dinner table and you want to stump people.
So the more pleats you have,
the more ways you know how to cook eggs.
It's kind of a badge of honor, isn't it?
I would say, yeah. And also the height of a toque. The higher the toque, the more seniority. In classical French kitchens, the higher the toque, the more seniority the chef had.
I didn't know that.
Where you're either your master chef or the chef of the kitchen would have the highest toque going.
Really?
In the brigade system, you'd have your sous chef and gourmet chef and chef de pastry, and so they would all different size of hat.
How long have you been a chef?
I started working in restaurants 35 years ago when I was 15 years old.
I'll be darned.
My cousins had a restaurant out in Ocean City, Maryland,
really?
on the boardwalk. And I went out there one summer, and that was it.
You went to culinary school?
I did. I went to Johnson & Wales up in Providence, Rhode Island.
Am I pronouncing that correctly? Culinary or?
Culinary, culinary, tomato.
Okay.
And I have an associate's in culinary arts and a bachelor's in hospitality management, restaurant management.
Well, okay, Michael. Do you have any more updates for us? Is that it?
Okay. We're always we have we do it well. The diversity fair is coming up. I think that is July 10th. And that's going to be in Hunters Crossing Conference Center. It's a great day for its employees and the residents, just to see the diversity of the employees here and the culture and the food. We have foods from around the world that we do. We've done this many years, and it's really a great.
When is this coming
I
up?
think it's July 10th,
July
next Friday.
10th. Again, we'll see this in our cubby, hopefully.
Either on the cubby or on the
or on the Channel 6.
Channel 6 on the resident menu, but that's coming up next Friday.
On the resident, that's the key, because there are some of us here who still can't get Channel 6 on our new system.
Okay.
So the menu is going to be the key.
Well, we're going to have the menu out tomorrow because of the holiday weekend, and all the pertinent information will be on that menu.
Michael, I'd like to talk a little bit about the new menu that's coming out here. I think in September or maybe October. I think it's planned.
I think it's the hot topic of the community, huh?
Yeah. What can you tell us about
Signature
that?
menu is a la minute cooking. A la minute, basic translation, is at the minute. Currently how we cook is called batch cooking. It's almost like hotel style. What we do is we prepare the food in batches. And so if bourbon salmon, it's a big resident favorite here. When we prepare the bourbon salmon, we'll prepare maybe 20 or 30 pieces at a time during service. Everything's prepped up during the day, and then it's prepared, actually cooked right when service starts going through service. But we'll prepare batches of it. So we'll prepare 30 salmon at a time, so that when the orders come in on the screen, the food will be set on the plate. We'll prepare, the vegetables in batches. That'll probably continue with the vegetables, but when we move to an a la minute cooking, I'll give you an example. I always use chicken marsala. Now, marsala sauce we'll prepare in a batch, because to prepare marsala sauce in a saute pan for every order would be time consuming. But we will prepare that day the production and preparation of a marsala sauce. Now, when the chicken will be prepared, in other words, it will be tenderized and it will be seasoned. You come in, Bob orders, I want a chicken marsala today. Okay, great. Ticket comes in, we take that chicken. It's seared in a saute pan, right? The pasta will already be al dente, portioned. Say the pasta goes down into the pasta bath, pasta cooker. It's boiling hot water. It takes about 2 minutes because the pasta's cooked already al dente. Pasta comes up, drained, put it on the plate. Chicken comes off the plate, laid on the pasta. The sauce is already hot in the steam table. We nappe the sauce on top of the chicken, and out the door it goes. So what you're cooking is the actual protein itself, and that's cooked to order. The good thing about a la minute is, let's say you want your sauce on the side, or I like chicken marsala, but I like light sauce, or I like chicken marsala and can I get extra sauce? These are the little things that we can do with a la minute cooking. I want a fillet. I want a fillet medium rare, medium well, rare.
Yeah.
It's easier when you cook it individually than when you cook it in batch. So it's a la minute cooking where we're cooking to order. And I think the residents, I know, this is my wheelhouse, as I say. I've worked in corporate restaurants majority of my professional career. Cheesecake Factory, Dave & Buster's, P.F. Chang's, a lot of seafood houses, so this is my forte. And I know that, when you go out to eat, if residents go to Mike's American Grill, that's a la minute cooking.
Okay.
So even when I worked at Legal Seafood, with seafood, a la minute cooking. Everything, you put your order in and it was prepared when the ticket came in and out the door it went. So I think the residents are going to really like it. It's a little more freedom on the ordering. It's definitely cooked to order. The quality, I think our quality is great now. It's going to be just as good, if not better. So it's definitely, I think the residents are going to enjoy this. and you're going to have a larger selection. Currently, you walk into any dining room and you have your 3, Jefferson has 4 daily entrees that rotate every day. Plus, we have what we call our always available. Well, we're going to go to, you know, the beginning menu between 12 and 15 items. So your variety is going to be there. You'll have a filet. Both Fireside and Woodland are going to have a filet on the menu. If you want a filet every day, God bless you, go ahead. You know, you can have that filet mignon every day if you want.
You're kidding.
No, you know. So,
really?
Absolutely. I guarantee after a couple of weeks you get sick of filet now.
I don't think I ever will.
But things like that. I think one dining room is going to have crab cakes. The other one's going to have the sea scallops. So we're going to also have some lighter fare. The burgers that are so popular in Woodland Skies for lunch. And in the cafe, we're going to have those on the menu. We're going to have some hot sandwiches. We're going to have some entree salads. So variety of entrees. If I come into dinner and I really don't want a filet, I'd rather have a hot sandwich or a burger, a little lighter, or an entree salad, salmon salad. I want a Caesar with maybe some chicken or shrimp on it for dinner. You can have that. So I think it's going to be a variety, which the residents are going to really enjoy. You know, the cook to order, which they're going to enjoy. So
923-4639. This is a call-in show. I'm going to play the devil's advocate here.
Go ahead.
If we have so many choices on the menu, is this going to slow things down?
I don't think it's going to slow things down, but residents have to understand that when we go from batch cooking to order, when you go out to a restaurant outside the gates, you expect, and if you go out on a weekend, there's going to be a wait like any restaurant, but when you sit down and you put your order in, you have to understand that there's going to take time. If you order a well-done steak, a filet, that's not going to come out in 8 minutes. But for the majority of it, the timing, you know, a lot of the things are going to be, sauces are already being prepared. So I think maybe a few minutes. I don't think you're going to see a drastic change in cooking times to get your food. And that's why the whole pacing the dining room is happening now. Because if we pace the dining room and we control the amount of tickets coming into the kitchen, you create a system. You create a flow so that the food's going and the food's going out. If we sat 100 people in Woodland Skies at one time, it's not going to work. You know, you can only get so much in a 5-gallon bucket. And after a while, then you're just waiting. So if you do a pace with the flow of the residents coming in, residents going in, residents coming out, food going in, food going out, you create that flow and that nice even flow, and the food's getting prepared and the food's going out. So I don't think you're going to see a drastic change in ticket times. You know, you and I talked about before the show with what equipment are we getting for this? And I can tell you we're upgrading both Fireside and Woodland Skies Kitchen completely. We've just installed, about 8 months ago, we installed new steamers that are top of the line, fantastic. About 3 weeks ago, we just installed new convection ovens, which are digital, brand new ovens. Staff loves them. They work fantastic. And before the program starts, we're going to be bringing in all new equipment for the hotline. We're going to have new coolers underneath the equipment. We're going to go from, we talked about at the town hall, we have 4 burners in the kitchen. Well, how many burners did everybody, you know, stovetops? Everybody had 4 in their homes growing up. Well, how many people did you cook for in your house? 5, 6 people? Where they're using those same amount of burners in the dining rooms. So now we're doubling the size of everything.
But my question though is, we have a call.
Excellent.
Good morning. You're on Channel 6. May I have your question, please?
I'd like to know if these menus are going to be available before we're seated.
Thank you. We'll answer on the line.
Yes, what we're going to look at is actually having, before you seat, the menus, maybe like a to-go menu on paper, so that when the residents are waiting, they can actually look at the menu and have some familiarity
Will
with.
you pass these menus out?
Yeah,
or
we'll have them. Hopefully, we'll have them available. We're looking into a program that will assist the residents. So before you sit down, maybe I can take a little pocket menu that I can look over while I'm sitting there waiting, so that when I do sit down, I already know what I want to order. I've looked at the menu, I've reviewed it, and the server comes up and it's like, oh, I already know what I want to order. So that itself is going to help with the process
That
of
would
ordering.
speed it up.
That would speed it up.
But
So
what I'm thinking of, Michael, is and I'm going to speak for Woodlands guys only,
okay.
the tremendous crowd, if you will, that's sitting outside, and people look at, oh, we have another. Good morning, you're on Channel 6. Hello.
Hello. I'm calling. I'm a frequent visitor to Green Spring, having relatives that live here. And I have always been impressed with the dining room. I think the chef and his team does a sensational job. There's always a great selection, and the food is always good. And so I applaud the chef on that. I am concerned about this new seating policy, and which I think is hugely disrespectful of the people who live here. The system worked great before, and people, as they arrived, they were seated. Now there's in one lounge area, there's 100 people sitting around waiting with beepers, which is so impersonal. And meanwhile, you look around the dining room and there are 10 or more empty tables. So, and I know that the management of the individual restaurants work great, but I just think this seating policy needs to be rethought.
Well, we'll try to answer. We'll try to answer that for you. We were talking about that just now, so we'll get into that. Thank you.
All right, I had to go outside to make a call. So,
Oh, okay.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And I understand that the frustration.
We only have a minute left. We're down to 1 minute.
Oh, okay.
Gee, I don't know where the time is going.
You know, as far as with the seating policy, one thing I have noticed that the times have dropped, and a lot of residents have mentioned to me, you know, if I come a little later, after 5:30, I'm in and out. My wait is, I've had residents tell me 4 minutes, 7 minutes, 11 minutes. Obviously, if we set everybody with the new program a la minute as the old way, you'd be waiting. You'd be waiting even longer, because when the kitchen goes down, it's an incredible feat to get everything righted. And there is a pace, and I know you see the open tables, but we have to pace the residents in, and that's why we say take advantage of the later hours.
Okay.
So, but it's a work in progress.
Michael, you're just full of good information.
Well, I appreciate
I wish
that.
we had more time together. It seemed like it just flew on by. But I must say, well, we do have another call. You're on. Oh, turn down your volume, please.
Just a moment. Hello?
Turn your volume down, please.
Okay.
Okay.
2 questions. One, will we have fresh beef instead of frozen to prepare the hamburgers? I'm really looking forward to having hamburgers. And the other question, a question with regard to desserts, pastries. I do not go for rich desserts. I am so tired of seeing so many on there, and it is so difficult for me to get a piece of pound cake, perhaps with a little fruit on, but pound cake, and we can do so much with it. I would really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Well, 2 questions. 1, pound cake is on the dessert rotation.
Yeah.
So, and we do look at, you know, we serve 2 of the sugar-free desserts, one being on the menu and one a chef's choice. So those are offered.
Okay.
And we look at, and there's always a chef's choice on dessert. So I would, if you frequent a certain dining room, you know, talk to the manager, say, you know, on the chef's choice, if there's any chance of doing a light dessert, a fruit dessert, or something of that nature. Let it be known, but there's options for that. As far as the ground beef, our ground beef comes in, it's fresh ground beef. Now, obviously...
it's not frozen.
Well, we do get some ground beef in frozen, but understand ground beef from the process when it's ground at the factories where they do the processing is frozen somewhere along the transportation. It's just because of it's a fresh product, and where it's coming from,
Keep it fresh.
that it's going to be frozen somewhere along the journey. If we receive it fresh or frozen, but we do get, it's a great product that we get in. It's an 8119, so it's a lean ground beef. I don't think we've had any complaints on our burgers, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's the old analogy.
Well, Michael, we should do this again.
I do it once a month. So, you know, the one thing I want to say, you know, everybody commends on what a great food we do here, and it goes back to the team. The chefs, the managers, they all do a fantastic job. It's not a one-person show, so I commend our whole management and our whole dining team.
You're on Channel 6. Please turn your volume down.
Yes,
Turn your...
I have a question. Special about Jefferson. When we get green cabbage and red cabbage, the pieces are so large, they cover half of the plate. Can they make smaller sizes?
Thank you. Can they cut them up?
Absolutely. I can talk to Chef Havinga and talk to her team and see if we can just cut it up a little smaller. That's an easy fix. So I apologize for that.
I've got to say so long,
That's
Michael.
all right. I understand. I appreciate your time.
We're out of time.
Thank you so much.
You've been just great.
Well, anytime.
Thank you for taking the time off to be here with us.
I appreciate it.
And now...